Hi, and welcome my guide for my Frostblades character for 3.6, the Synthesis League. This league will be pretty good for Frostblades, I think. It's another sort of delve sort of type league where clear speed is rewarded with items, which is always good. So, not much has changed for our build this league for Synthesis, and I think it will be just as good as it was in delve, because it's very similar to delve from what I can tell. And I think it will just be great in that regard. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I'd like to showcase what a map looks like when you're clearing out with Frostblades for people who don't know or just want to see the build. So let me go ahead and do that now. We're just going to grab out a random map from among my past leagues. We'll do a tier 10, and we'll do a city square. And we'll just basically do a normal elk on it. That's good enough. Pretty hard map, but it is a good showcase of the build. And let's get this going. So, Frostblades typically uses Whirling Blades as its main movement skill because it is the best way to always be on the move without taking damage as well, and it is usually safer because you don't take damage from it. It's also very fast, which is very nice, and as you can see, everything just explodes from Frostblades. It might look a little laggy, but that's because my internet's just being kind of bad today, so sorry about that. I can assure you this build is not laggy. It's actually pretty good for people who have weak computers, which might be surprising because of all the effects, but it is definitely usable on like a medium tier setup. But as you can see, Frostblades tears maps apart, which is what it's designed for. Which is why I think it's gonna be a great league starter for Synthesis. So yeah, I highly recommend the build. It's one of my favorite builds I've ever played. I usually play it almost every other league or so, just because it's fun and it is very fast paced, as you can see. And if you have any questions as well, I must say that now, you can leave them below. I'll get as I can. As like I said, I don't mind the newbie questions. We were all new once, and yeah, I get it, you know. Sometimes PoE is a little confusing. There is one thing I want to say before we get to the boss fight here soon. The boss fight's in the open, which might be a little awkward to use, but I can still showcase this decently well. Frostblades uses Ruthless on bosses because it makes them take more damage. So basically, you clear with Ancestral Call, typically, and when you hit a boss, you put in Ruthless like this. Take it out, put it in, and then you always want to be moving on bosses. This is a really bad boss for Frostblades, by the way, these 3 bosses right here in City Square. We'll see how this goes, actually. But as you can see, they're pretty tanky, and there's 3 of them, so it's really hard to focus on dodging their mechanics because there's 3 of them, of course. So typically, use the house portal to get back to your get full stats again, and just go back, and then you will probably be able to finish this off. This map is a little hard from the mods I have on it as well, so typically you won't have these kind of issues, but yeah, as you can see, as long as you're careful, you can do the map just as well. So there you go. And that is a gameplay for Frostblades. Now let's talk about gear. Gearing is very simple, I would say. It's definitely the most self-explanatory gearing process I've seen in a lot of builds. Basically, we try and stack as much cold and physical damage as possible. So we use Touch Anguishes because these are the best claws you can get for budget. They're like 1 chaos during the league, typically. Very good claws. We use 2 of those, by the way, because we dual wield. And for our helmet, we use a Sarconage's Hood. This is a very amazing item. I can't say enough good things about it. It's easily one of the best helmets in the game. Belly the Beast, of course, as always, a great chest plate because it gives it a lot of life, which is all you really need for this Frostblades build. We use rare rings that have life, fire, and cold in them. If you can get life on them, cold damage on them as well. Definitely try and do it. But just getting life and res on it is probably all you really need. Same thing with this other ring. Oh, also accuracy. Accuracy is also needed at least on one of your items. At least 300 accuracy is needed on one gear setup piece, because this will make it so you can hit better and it will save you a lot of frustration. So I highly recommend you try and get on one of your amulets or your rings. For your amulet, we use a physical damage amulet right here. Basically, we just want as much life and damage on this amulet as possible with some backup stats. So this one uses strength as well, because it suggests more stat nodes we don't have to take then. So very good setup right here. You can go to the written guide. The written guide has the stats that are preferred, and also what you should be looking for on all your gear pieces that are far better wording explained than I can do it in a video. So I highly recommend you go there and try and give that a try. For our gloves, we use spike gloves. Victory Paul is what they're called. Spike gloves are probably the best pieces of gloves you can have in this build. You could do a Tomb Fist, and Tomb Fists are pretty good as well, but I prefer Spike Glove because it has extra gem slot on it, which is very important for most of our builds. So typically, Spike Glove is what you want to be going for. You can use a Tomb Fist though. Tomb Fist is also very good, but Spike Glove's better, I think, in my opinion. Anyways, for Spike Gloves, we use life and res. That is it. Life and res. For our boots, we just want a lot of life, a lot of res, and movement speed as a secondary. Movement speed is basically our backup thing. It's just so we can move faster in our hideout in our town. It just saves you some time, and it's a bit of a quality of life feature right there. So, try and get a little bit of movement speed in your boot if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it, because you can just use Whirling Blades in your hideout as well. It's mostly for towns when you want movement speed. For belt, we just basically want a life belt, a lot of life, and a lot of res. If you can get elemental damage attacks on here, A+, that's good. That's a good belt. But you just want life and res, typically. If you can get that, you did good. For flask, we just use Eternal Life Flask, Azuri's Promise, Quicksilver Flask, Silver Flask, and Diamond Flask. These are all very good flasks. They're all pretty self-explanatory what they do. This gives you life, this gives you more damage, speed, more attack speed and also speed, and better crits. So now let's talk about gems. For gems, we use Whirling Blades, Fortify, faster attacks. That's a very good setup right there. You want to try and get that on one of your items, typically on your 3 slots, so on your weapon, either one. And for our helmet, we use Assassin's Mark, Curse on Hit, Hate Trig, and also Herald of Ice. Very important setup right here. You want to try and get these Uras. They're very good. And then for our weapon, we use Ancestral Call, but typically you want to have Ruthless in this thing just sitting here to level up. That's why we have it there. And then we have Castaneo Shaken level 20, and Ice Golem level 20. This is because I'm lazy, and it makes it so I don't have to summon my Ice Golem a lot. It saves me a lot of time and effort, so I recommend you give that a try as well. Now for our chest plate. This is our main gem set right here. We use Ancestral Call, Frostblades, Hypothermia, Multi-Strike, Elemental Damage to attacks, added cold damage. This is a great setup right here. I have 4-link, 5-link, and 6-link setups all on the written guide too, so if you have a 4-link, 3-link, you can go ahead and go down to the written guide and see all that stuff. I don't make this video super long, so I'm just trying to get through it fast, but the written guide is very in-depth. If you just go to the description below, you'll see it. For our gloves, we use Melee Fizz, Conk Effect, Elemental Damage to attacks, and War Chief Totem, Val version. Val is a pretty big part of this build. I recommend you get Val War Chief Totem. It's very good. It saves you a lot of time on killing bosses, which is very important for a build. For our boots, we use Frost Bomb level 10, Need Speed level 10, Increased Duration level 20. I need level will work though. Immortal Call level 3, very important as well. It needs to be level 3. And cast damage take level 1. Also very important. Keep these at the exact level. They are very important to keep at the exact level. Now, that is it for gearing. Let's talk about passive tree. For passive tree, we use basically pretty similar stuff right here. This is basically our main goals of the passive tree are gaining life and damage in a efficient possible, so as efficiently as possible. So we go a lot of life, a lot of damage, and a lot of frenzies. So I have leveling skill trees too on the build guide. So if you want to level this build, I recommend you go down there and it'll show you what to pick and that kind of stuff while you're going through the acts. It'll save you a lot of time, and also I don't have to pause it. You don't have to pause the video then and try and decide what you want to do. So if you play the build, please use the leveling skill trees other than the video. It'll help you a lot. So we use basically all the life you can, all the attacks you can, all the crit nodes you can as well. Claws Magpie, Soul Raker, Frenzy nodes, Claws of Pride. I'm not going to go through everything right here, but basically just grab every single node that looks good to you that I recommend in the build guide, because they are all pretty much what you need. As you can see, we just basically grab every life node possible, every frenzy node possible, and every crit node possible for the most part. And also Val Pact, important part of the build. But yeah, that is going to be it for the video. I hope to help you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I think Path of Exile will have a pretty good league with Frostblades this league, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys try it. So, have a great day, and peace.